Today is May 25th, 2022, and I would like to open the City of Springfield License Commission meeting at 5:35 p.m. First, I'd like to take this opportunity to formally welcome Commissioner D'Antonio to the License Commission Board. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So our first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for our License Commission meeting for May 11th, 2022. Did all commissioners receive the minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have an opportunity to read them. Any changes? No?
Didn't see anything.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the May 11th License Commission meeting. Is there a second?
Second?
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
Maria D is fine.
D is fine?
Maria D is fine.
Antonio.
Yes.
And Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, our next item on the agenda is a new petition for the new annual all alcohol license for Mexico, DBA Mexico, located at 64 Hancock Street. Anastasia Cherico Lozano, the manager of record. Who is here for Mexico? Anyone here for Mexico?
I see that Ms. Gresham is here. I believe she's here on behalf of the neighborhood council, but I don't see any person from Mexico. I'm not sure who all these, I'm not sure who's on iPhone 5 so I'm not sure about those individuals, but.
Okay. Okay, iPhone 5. Well, iPhone, who are you here for?
I'm here for Malecon Restaurant.
Malecon. Anybody for Mexico?
iPhone 5 is also here for Malecon.
Okay, no one for Mexico. Is that for Ms. Gresham, correct?
Yeah, yes, I'm here representing Old Hill Neighborhood Council.
Okay. Attorney Days, how do we move forward on Mexico?
I would pass it, Madam Chairperson, at least till you get through the informational hearings and then revisit it. We'll see if someone joins thereafter.
Okay. Okay, so we'll pass, we'll move on to the informational hearings. Anyone here for New England Motor Cars? First item is New England Motor Cars located at 720 Berkshire Avenue. Mohammed Rafi, manager of record.
Mohammed Rafi is here, present.
Okay. I don't know, is the complainant here? For New England Motor Cars? No. Attorney Days?
Is someone trying to speak up? Who is Lewis's Galaxy? You have to unmute, sir. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're here for what matter?
I'm here for the matter of fact of I just bought a Jeep Wrangler 2008.
Okay, let me hold you off for a minute. So I think we have both parties then here, Madam Commissioner.
Correct.
Okay.
Louis, what did you say your last name is?
Feliciano, family's Feliciano.
Feliciano. Okay. Okay, and there is someone here for New England Motor Cars, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Okay, Attorney Days, I don't have that complaint in front of me.
Okay, well, why don't we let Mr. Feliciano give us the specifics of his complaint?
Can I start now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, in February 20, I think, I have all the paper here. I just met Muhammad from New England, dealership, Berkshire Ave. And I saw a 2008 Jeep Wrangler, a black one, Sahara with a 76,000 mile. So I just test the drive. I drive the car, and I will accept it to buy the car. I just went to buy the car. I just give him the down payment. I also, excuse me, let me put the weird glasses on. I'm sorry. Put my weird glasses. I always, this is all the money that I just give to him. The check and cash, I pay $17,000 for the vehicle. And I just registered the car. And when I registered the car, I realized that the IMV charged me less money for the car. So when I find out, the owner of the dealership, he put that I just pay him. I had the paper here, $11,000. So after that, I didn't know. I went like maybe some mistake or whatever. So the first day that I had the car, I was so happy, so excited for my car, even for my family. And I realized that when you turn on the car, they don't want to turn on. You go like clap, 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 clap. So I called Muhammad, I think, and I went over there. So his mechanic, the first time the mechanic checked the voltage, the second, the voltage and the battery. So he gave it to me back and he said everything is good condition. So I took the car back. And the second time, I was like in West Springfield, you know, shopping with my family, and the car do the same thing. Ta-ta, they don't want to turn on. Ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta.
Okay, Mr. Feliciano, if you would allow me to, I'm just gonna kind of direct you with some questions.
Okay.
All right, so when you first got the car, were you able to get it inspected?
I did not, because I have a 7 day.
Right,
And the 7 day,
yeah,
the 7 day, I just went and put the car over there so they can take care, so they can see what's going on with the car.
okay, so you're saying prior to the 7 days, you took the car back to Mr. Muhammad, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and did you leave it there with him?
Yeah, I leave it for for 24 hours, I believe. And the mechanic, they called me and they just told me everything is okay. And the second time, I was so happy, so excited. So I still have the 7 day. I was in West Springfield and do the same thing. So I went back to Muhammad dealer and I have picture of the mechanic, and they changed the switch ignition kit. That's the second time they just changed the switch ignition kit because his mechanic believed the 2008 G Sahara had some issue with the switch ignition kit. So I took it back, and then I was happy again for less than 3 hours. The car do the same thing. I call whoever he had on the front, because Mr. Muhammad, he wasn't here. My concern was that Mr. Muhammad was vacation, and Mr. Muhammad told me that he wasn't here, but he got his supervisor or his, somebody on the dealership that he can take care of that. So that's the second time. The third time, I went over there again. I leave the car, and the mechanic guy changed the starter. That's the starter go on the next to the transmission. So he took 2 days or 3 days, and I'm not sure. So I was so patient. I've been having patience since day one. No problem. I like my car. And I paid $17,000 because I'm happy with the car. So he called me the third time. I picked up the truck, and when I was happy the next day that I was decide on Saturday following to inspect the car do the same thing to me again 3 times.
Okay, when you say that you had the car inspected, that was again by Mr. Muhammad's people?
Yeah, his
Okay.
mechanic.
All
His
right.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, so now I just want to get to the crux of the issue. So was the car ever repaired to your satisfaction?
No, the car is not repaired yet. I do not have the car right now. Mr. Muhammad still have the car right now.
Okay, and when did you purchase it?
I just purchased it. Let me get my registration. The bill of sale here. Let me see the date. The bill of sale say 3/4/22.
Okay, so,
Ma'am,
okay, so approximately
I
2
don't
and a
know if
half
you
months
can-
ago. Okay, so you take it to him, yep, so you take it to him a third time, still not satisfied with the repairs. And you say currently he has the car?
yeah, currently he got the car because
And
the
how,
third
and,
time,
and how long has he had the car?
for now, like since like what 3 weeks now, for 4 weeks. I'm
Okay,
not sure. I don't want to, ma'am. I don't want to lie. I want to be I'm serious with this matter. I don't remember, but I think like 3 weeks of that he had the car. That's when I decide because after that I just text Mr. Muhammad 3 times, and I have some proof that I text him 3 times when Mr. Muhammad did not respond to me. So I decide, because this is the third time with the same issue, I decide to brought it back, and Mr. Muhammad wasn't there. I think it was his brother or his friend, and his brother or his friend told me that Mr. Muhammad was on vacation. And
okay, and
so
let me slow you down, Mr. Feliciano. How many weeks ago was that?
like 5 weeks ago, I
Okay,
think.
so, okay, so
Between-
ultimately, I'm just gonna kind of fast forward you a little bit. So ultimately, you weren't satisfied with the repairs on the car, is that correct?
Exactly, because every time I drive it, it's let me hanging around. I gotta call friend. I gotta call couple friends that have trucks, because if I call CJ gonna charge me more money.
Okay,
So-
understood. So the car has not been
Madam-
repaired to your
Madam
satisfaction,
Attorney,
is that correct?
Madam Attorney, can I speak for a minute?
You'll get an opportunity in a minute.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, so ultimately, Mr. Feliciano, the car has not been repaired to your satisfaction, is that correct?
That's correct. I do not
Okay.
have the coverage. That's
Okay,
correct.
so now I'm gonna give Mr. Muhammad or Mr. Rafi an opportunity to respond.
Yes. First thing is, when Mr. Feliciano left his car, he left without authorization. He just left the car, left the title. So at that point, it was not taken in for repair. So once he took it, he went and he opened up a hearing, and he went to the, I think, the Attorney General Consumer Affairs also. So when they did, I did respond to them by email. So she had contacted Mr. Feliciano, and upon contacting him, he came and spoke to me, which was about roughly, I would say, the last hearing we had, the date of the last hearing. So upon when he came to me, you know, he was little heated in the argument. Then he cooled down. We did come to an agreement, and he said, "Fix the car for me. It doesn't matter how long it takes." This was my last conversation with Mr. Feliciano, and he told me. I told him, "Okay, my lifts are tied up because I had the car in storage, and I did not touch the car because he left the car and the title without any word." Right. So then I told him, "Okay, you want me to fix the car? Is that the agreement we came to?" But I told him I have a busy schedule. And I told him my mechanic, unfortunately at that time, my mechanic had a small issue with his hand. He had some metal inside his hand. So his doctor gave him a 2 weeks notice, and I had to take things really slow with him. So any job he took a day, it was taking him 2 days, but I was patient with him. So his car is supposed to be taken into repair tomorrow. That's my schedule for him. But my last conversation with him was he wanted to repair the car for me. But prior to that, what he is failing to mention is that he had some electrical modifications in the car. He had changed the grille, he had changed the tail lights, he had a small light bar on, and he had updated the headlights. And I have pictures of these, and these pictures were forwarded to Anna as well as the Consumer Affairs also. There is a high possibility that whenever he did some electrical alterations in the car, that it could have snapped up something which I don't know. I have to troubleshoot a lot. But as a courtesy, I said I will look into it for him. He's failing to mention that part. And regarding to inspection, he had 7 days he could have gone to inspection. He had another 3-4 days between his first visit. He could have gone for inspection. So him not taking to inspection as per mass laws, he should have told it to the inspection and got a fail sticker if he cannot do it. That's his right. But he did not do the inspection, and I do not know why he did not do the inspection, as there was nothing else wrong with the car.
Okay, Mr. Rafi, I'm
Yep.
gonna just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna move you along a little bit. So how long have you had the car in your possession?
This is what happened. He dropped the car last time without my authorization. So when he
Understood, but
came to me-
my question is, how long has the car been there in your life?
It has been with me for almost a month right now without authorization prior.
Okay, and tomorrow you stated that your mechanic is going to take a look at it and he's looking to fix it tomorrow?
Yes, we are going to take a look, but the thing is, as I told you, I don't know what electrical modifications has been done. It can take me quite a few days just to get to the crux of the problem. It's electrical issue, and
Muhammad,
just
DOT, electric, any electricity. I'm not mechanic. Your allegation is that I just put a tail light because the tail light that I bought the Jeep, the one that come to the Jeep was retaining water and off, and I decided to buy another tail light. Anybody can buy any tail light, and tail light never interfere with 3 times. Why you believe that you change the starter, trying to change the battery, and now you change the ignition switch? When you mechanic do all those work, is mean because you guys know, you already knew that the Jeep have some problem.
Okay.
And the only apps,
Okay,
and the only
Mr. Feliciano, I'm gonna cut to the chase a little bit more, okay? So if the car is scheduled to go in tomorrow,
okay,
my suggestion would be to put this back on 2 weeks from now at our next
Okay.
hearing, right? And see how far, if you guys have had a meeting of the minds and the car has been repaired. That would be my
Oh.
suggestion.
okay,
Mr. Rafi?
yes, I'm okay. That's what I told him last. But if he, that's what I told him when he came last. I need time to fix it, and I'm going to get, sorted out and see what the issue is. But that's what I told him when he came to me last. I thought we had an agreement.
Okay,
Ma'am?
so, Madam Chairwoman, I would ask.
man, can I suggest something, please?
Yes.
I did talk with Mr. Muhammad, and he have a customer. I went Wednesday. I'm sorry, Monday, and I shake my hand again, and I told him, Mr. Muhammad, you can, when you do the best you can, let me know. He told me I have a customer right now. I'm sorry that I was in vacation with my family. and I will try to see my mechanic to fix it. That was Monday on the 23rd. So he was with the new customer. So I see the door of his mechanic open, and I slide to over there, knock the door. The mechanic opened the door for me, and I say, hi, how you doing? And he responded to me, and I told him, what's going on? Well, I asked the question, what's going on with the Jeep? And he told me, what Jeep? I told him the Jeep that is supposed to be mine, the black one, the 2008 Sahara. He go like, oh no, that Jeep, the engine is broke. And I go like, why is broke? How is going to be broke with 70?
Okay. Understood, Mr. Feliciano, but the goal is, right, to get the car repaired. That's the goal,
Okay,
right?
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
so-
madam.
Okay, so what I'm proposing is that we continue this matter. It doesn't go away, but that we continue it until you have had such time that the car can be repaired. You guys can have a meeting of the minds, and then we'll return to hear the progress or hopefully the completion of the work and your satisfaction. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. A
Thank you.
motion, Madam Chairwoman?
Oh, okay, with that being said, I make a motion that we continue the New England Motor Cars informational hearing to our next meeting on June 15th, 2022.
Fine.
June,
you.
June
June
15th,
16,
15, 1-5,
Yeah.
15,
1-5. I'm sorry, 1-5.
1-5,
Okay,
And what-
June 16.
What time will it be?
5:30.
Same time.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Was-
ma'am, and God bless everybody. And I hope Mohammed and I decide to fix my Jeep or give me my money back.
Okay,
Well,
is
we'll-
there,
We'll
is there a
see.
Second
second
that.
to the motion?
Second that motion, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Thank
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, we'll see both of you back on June 15 at 5:30.
All right, thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you. Have a great, everybody get blessed day. Thank you. Have a good
Yeah.
one.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Okay, our second informational hearing is for AC Liquors, Inc., DBA Worthington Discount Liquors located at 941 Worthington Street. Andrew Calvanese, the owner, no manager of record.
I'm present.
Calvanese,
Yes,
okay.
hi.
What is going on, sir? We received a letter that your manager of record, it's gone?
Yes, correct. He is gone. The store is being sold. I've been under contract now since March, so I just got notification from the buyer yesterday that that the lawyer went to talk to Anna and that they're going to be on, I just want to pull up the message here. They're going to be on, it says, hi, Mr. So-and-so, please see the below correspondence with Anna. Please confirm that you are available June 8th. This is the earliest we can get for the hearing with the city. Additionally, I brought everything down for filing earlier this afternoon, so we're all set on that. The city filing fee was $200, and I used the check you provided. So the sale is moving forward. He did quit, and then I guess he came down here and said something because he was upset with me. But we do have it under contract and it is being sold. My question is I know she said June 8th, but you just said the next hearing is not till June 15th, correct?
Let me look at a calendar.
Our
Because-
meetings is the,
For the liquor is June 8th?
is it the third and
No,
and
June
the-
8th is the second, is it because June 1st is actually the first Wednesday.
Yeah, it is actually the 8th. The 8th.
the 8th?
Second.
Oh, it is the 8th, okay.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that we send a letter out. But Mr. Calvanese, that doesn't, it's inconsequential that it's being sold. The concern is that there's no manager of record that is listed with the ABCC or my office now. So that's the concern. That's the immediate concern.
Okay.
So what has been done about that?
Well, the other employee that was working side by side with Edward, he took over all the responsibilities, and he can go as the next manager on a license. But if this is being sold, and hopefully in a couple of months it's sold, because it's a serious buyer, and I've seen his documents, I've seen his
Yeah, Mr. Calvinese, that's fine. If you sell it in 2 months or you sell it in 2 weeks, but in the interim, you must have a manager on record of the establishment till such time that it changes.
Correct. So then do I need to put in the paperwork to get a new manager on?
Yes.
You do.
So I do.
Yes.
Okay, I will talk. Well then, but then again, I'm going to put the paperwork to go through the new manager, and it might take just as long as the sale of the liquor store. So what is, I mean.
Okay, let me give you a hypothetical. Something happens there next week.
Yep.
There's no manager of record.
Okay, but I understand that.
If
But
something happens a month from now, prior to the sale, there's no manager of record.
Correct.
So that's the concern.
But if I put the application in for a new manager, there's still going to be technically and legally no one there. So what really changes? That the application's in?
You know, that's a really interesting question, but I guess what could happen is that because there's no manager of record, the commission could tell you that you can't operate at all until there's a new manager of record.
So it has in the past, I mean, I've been there 25 years and I never had this problem, but in the past, I'm quite sure that a manager has either quit or been fired, and there's not a manager there the next day. It's got to go through all the process. It's got to go through all the paperwork. It's got to go through the.
Yeah, but how does it ever get done if you don't put the paperwork in? What if the sale doesn't go through and you come back a month from now and you say, thought I had a serious buyer, but now I'll put the change of manager in. We're that much more far behind, right? Than you coming and putting a manager in. And it sounds like this guy didn't leave there yesterday, right?
No, he technically left there on April 25th.
Okay.
But I was waiting to get a hearing date first to make sure that everything was moving forward. And then once I got the date, I was going to have Ben contact the license commissioners and figure out how to move forward. But before I even had that chance, I got this letter, like, a week and on May 9th, I got the letter. So I said, I'm just going to wait. I'll wait for the hearing. I'll wait for to make sure we have a date to move forward. And then we'll just move forward. I mean,
Mr. Calvinese, you need to submit a change of manager application tomorrow.
Okay. I will contact Ben Coyle tomorrow and I'll have him do everything. That's fine.
Very good, sir.
Okay. No
now,
problem.
In the interim, the person who is there, what's his name?
His name is Lincoln Legare, Legare.
Legare is his last name. What's his first name?
Lincoln.
Lincoln, like Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Be mindful though, sir, while there's no manager of record, if anything happens at that establishment, it's going to be a problem. Right.
Well, I understand that, but again, I'm pretty sure in 25 years, I never had an issue or problem that, again, when someone sells or someone gets fired as a manager there, there's got to be a little leeway to get the paperwork into the city of Springfield.
Absolutely. But to your earlier point, it was April 25th that young man, or who, I don't know if he's older man, I don't know, I didn't see him, but he left there, but there's been no affirmative steps taken to replace him other than him coming in to notify us that in fact he's not there anymore, right?
Well, that's why I was saying the reason why is because I wanted to get the date official for the new license transfer or the new license owner. I get it, I understand that, but again, I've been there 25 years. I've never had an issue or a problem. So I mean, my record speaks for itself.
But it doesn't matter how long you have been here. So like Attorney Day said, something could happen tonight or something can happen
Absolutely.
tomorrow and something could, you know, perhaps nothing will ever happen. But at the end of the day, you have until tomorrow to file the papers.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, I have exactly till tomorrow. I'm gonna send him a message to my lawyer right now.
Mhm.
He's gonna,
Please
I
do.
mean, what happens if he's tied up all day in court tomorrow?
Then he can give us a call, he can call the office and let us know what's going on, or perhaps you can call the office and let Anna or someone know what's going on. But at the end of the day, you have to put in the paperwork for a new manager of record, regardless of when you're selling or not selling.
All right, but I'm quite sure there's plenty of stores in Springfield that they have a liquor store that have a manager on file and they're not even there, or whatever. And again, being there for 25 years, I mean, I can't even get a consideration where let's wait till June 8th to make sure this goes through and it's okay. I mean,
I think that you've, gone long enough. It's been a month already. And, you know, like Attorney Day said, so it may sell, it may not sell. It may, you know, go through, it may fall through.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll get the paperwork in tomorrow. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Am I free to go?
You are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Huh.
Okay, we don't need to have an Attorney Days, do we make a motion on this informational hearing?
No, I'll just make notes in
Okay.
terms of that he needs to get the.
Okay.
amendment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there anyone, let's circle back to Mexico. Did anybody come in for Mexico? No. Attorney Days, should we continue to June 8th? Do we hear Ms. Gresham?
I would suggest that you continue the matter to June 8th when all parties are present. Ms. Gresham, we thank you for attending, but we can't go forward without the benefit of having the other party here.
Okay.
So our next
all right.
meeting will be June 8th at 5:30.
At 5:30, okay, June 8th. So can I ask a question?
Yes,
Sure.
Did you all receive the letter from Old Hill Neighborhood Council?
we did.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, have a good night.
You too, take care.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we continue the petition for the new annual all alcohol license for Mexico LLC and DBA Mexico located on 64 Hancock Street. Anastasia Chirico Lozano, manager of record. Do I hear second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio, Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay. So I believe we do have on the pre-hearing conference, we have 10 items on the agenda, 8 of which are Delicia's Restaurant and 2 are Sumaya's Restaurant, Malecon. So I suggest that we go ahead with Malecon first, and then we move on to the other items for Delicia's. Okay, so we're commissioners will.
You know what time you would get to my clients? Because I'm going to log off and log back on. I was told 5:30. It's now 6:10. Do you have an idea about Park when you might reach them?
No, not really. And I mean, unfortunately, the meeting did start at 5:30, but there were other items on the agenda prior to yours.
Okay. They're always put last though on the agenda, and it's hours every time I come here. It's hours.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go down to item number 9, commissioners. Sumaya Restaurant, Inc., DBA Malecon Restaurant located at 137 Chestnut Street. Genesis Pujol, manager of record. This is for an incident on April 21st, 2022. Number 1, allowing the use of smoking material without required smoking bar permit in violation of the MGL Chapter 270, Section 22. And the second one is a failure to abide by Springfield noise ordinance. Is here for Malecon. Malecon?
There were two individuals here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Josue
Genesis,
Pujols is here.
Okay,
Okay, anyone else here for Malecon? Just, Ms. Pujo?
and Genesis
Josué.
Pujols.
News station alert has arrived.
Okay.
Josue Pujols is here too.
Josue?
Josue, yes.
Josue Pujo. Okay. Attorney Days?
okay, Barry, could you read us an abbreviated version of the facts for the incident on April 21st? And the allegations, of course, are allowing the use of smoking material without required smoking bar permit and failure to abide by the ordinance, as the chairperson pointed out.
Okay, on April 21st at around 9:27 PM, officers responded to Malecon Bar and Restaurant for unnecessary noise complaint. The call was initiated at 9:18. The calling party was listed as Kim. The narrative entered stated loud music coming from the restaurant, begins at 7 PM and goes on throughout the night. Officer Jacob Martinez entered the following narrative: advised to lower music and cleared the call with a disposition of advised. On April 22nd, I called the telephone number listed for the calling party. I spoke to a female named Kim. She confirmed she called the police Friday evening due to loud music coming from Malecon. She advised me she resides at 122 Chestnut, which is the building on the south of Hillman Street, over 50 feet away from Malecon. She added that the noise from Malecon has been horrific for the last 3 weekends, and she indicated that the music was not lowered after she called and that she could hear it until midnight. I also contacted Officer Martinez. He advised me the officers advised the DJ to lower the music and that he saw a few people using hookahs, including the DJ himself. Basically, the Springfield Police Department requested 2 violations. 1, allowing the use of smoking material without required smoking bar permit, in violation of MGL Chapter 270, Section 22, and failure to abide by the City of Springfield noise ordinance.
Okay, Ms. Genesis? Genesis Pujo?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, what do you have to say about the report that was read?
I really don't have anything to say besides that. We've been trying to keep the music down. And we actually put the music on around like 8:30 PM. That's when the DJ starts playing the music. Around 7, we have low music on because we still have people eating.
Wait, someone has music on?
Let me correct that. Normally the DJs, which is me, myself, or suppose, music start playing normally around 9 PM. And it doesn't go more than, 11:30, 11:45, that's the longest. So let me correct that. And we operate as a restaurant from normally 3 PM. That's the time we've been opening, 3 PM to 11:30 PM. So music gets played 9 PM and on, which is
Okay,
only like
so-
it's only 2.5 hours from 9 PM to like 11:30, 11:45, the latest.
Okay, well, are you conceding that this took place on April 21st, 2022? The violations did?
That's
occur?
correct. That's correct, Ms.
You're
Ace.
agreeing that they took place?
What was, I'm sorry?
Are you agreeing that the violations took place?
No, I'm not agreeing
you
to that
deny it?
because
Okay.
no, I'm not gonna deny it 100% no.
So you can
I'm
either, it either happened or didn't happen.
Yes, it happened. It did.
Okay, so you're admitting that there was smoking material without the required smoking bar permit, and you failed to abide by the Springfield noise ordinance. You're admitting
That I didn't fit. I'm not admitting that I felt about the smoking material. Yes, I can agree to that. We're not gonna sit here in front of you guys and lie to you. But about what was the other
failure to
thing you
abide
said?
by the Springfield noise ordinance.
About the noise ordinance, last time, even the complainant didn't know or didn't or wasn't sure that the music was coming from Malecon. So on that one, we're not agreeing to that. On the smoking material, yes, we are.
Okay, all right, so let me just explain what this particular hearing is for, right? This is a pre-hearing conference. So prior to witnesses coming in to either prove or disprove that something occurred at your establishment, that would be for a final hearing. So we're at the pre-hearing conference now, which you can either admit
I understand.
or you can deny, right? So if you deny, then we would set the matter up for a final hearing where, you'd bring your witnesses in, the city would bring their witnesses in, and then the commissioners would rule on whether or not a violation occurred. Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. So it sounds to me like the smoking bar, the smoking material you admit to, but the failure to abide by the noise ordinance you deny. So my suggestion,
yes,
Madam Chairperson, is that we continue that matter for final hearing. And because it doesn't sound like we're going to be able to dispose of it today.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I make a motion that we continue the Samaya Restaurant Inc., DBA Malecon Restaurant located at 137 Chestnut Street, manager of record, Genesis Pujo, incident of 4/21/2022, allowing the use of smoking material without required smoking bar permit in violation, and also the failure to abide by the city of Springfield noise ordinance. We continue that to a final hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, our next item is Malecon. And this one is for an incident on March 6, 2022. The first one is allowing the use of smoking material without required smoking bar permit in violation of MGL Chapter 270, Section 22. And the second is the failure to abide by city Springfield noise ordinance. So Ms. Pujo, this is technically the same charge on March 6th.
So what is your position with respect to these allegations?
We're talking about the
Do you admit
allegations
or do you
of,
deny?
we're talking about the smoking material.
And this is a different date of incident. And so there's also a noise ordinance with that one as well.
About the noise, the noise complaint, we don't agree to that because, like I said, they didn't have, nobody was sure that the music was coming from Malecon. Like we spoke, the complainant lived over 2-3 blocks away from Malecon, so it's impossible that in 2.5 hours you're hearing music bothering you the way she said that she's bumping on her bed. So something else is going on there. We don't agree to that complaint.
Okay.
Barry, you have a narrative. I'm sorry, Attorney
Yeah,
Dick.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Barry, you have a narrative for the March incident?
I do. You want me to read it?
Could you please?
Sure. So on March 6, 2022, officers responded to 137 Chestnut Street, Malecon Bar and Restaurant for unnecessary noise. The call-in party was listed as unknown with a call-in party telephone number that I recognized as that of a Mattoon Street resident. I've spoken to this call-in party on prior occasions about the ongoing quality of life issue complaints in the neighborhood, in particular, the loud music coming from Malacone. It should be noted this caller wishes to remain anonymous as they fear retaliation at their residence is well over 50 feet away from Malacone. The call was initiated at 8:45 p.m. Officers were dispatched at 9:16, arrived at 9:31 p.m. and cleared the call with a disposition of advised at 9:45 p.m. The narrative in the call for service states, caller states the music here is way too loud and there is a history of this. Caller states they just got their license back and she can hear it from 200 feet away and wants to sleep. Officer B. DeGray entered the following narrative at 9:45 p.m. when clearing the call. Spoke to the manager, Domingo Pujols, was advised to turn the music and will be cited if officers return for loud music. Could hear music from across the street. I later spoke to Officer DeGray about this call for service. She confirmed that she could hear the music from over 50 feet away from Malacone and that she had verbally advised Domingo Pujols to turn the music down. Officer DeGray asked me if Malacone had a permit to allow the use of hookahs. I advised her they did not have a smoking bar permit, and she told me that she observed 2 hookahs being used inside Malacone while she was on scene for the unnecessary noise call. She added that her body-worn camera was activated while she was at Malacone. I later viewed the body-worn camera footage associated with this call for service and noted that a hookah could be seen on the bar. The footage is available for review upon request. After conferring with the sergeant, the Springfield Police recommended again the same 2 violations, allowing the use of smoking material without the required permit and failure to abide by the City of Springfield noise ordinance.
I think aside of this, I heard they spoke to you, they referred to Dominga Pujols as the manager of record.
She's the owner. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Dominga Pujols is the owner. Genesis Pujols is the manager on record.
Who is the manager of record?
Genesis Pujols. She's over here with us.
Genesis. Okay. Okay. Attorney Daisy, you want to ask the question?
So it's my understanding that there is no admission to the 2 charges. Is that correct, Ms. Puyos?
Yes.
Okay, so with that being said, Madam Chairperson, I would suggest continuing this for final hearing as well.
Okay.
Just a question.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They're not stipulating the smoke, the hookahs? You're not indicating that you were doing the hookahs that evening? You're not stipulating that?
They did stipulate that to the first one. I didn't hear about the second one, but my suggestion, Commissioner Cade, is that we delay disposition on everything until
everything, okay,
all at one time.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so I will make a motion that we continue the Samaya Restaurant, DBA Malacone Restaurant incident of March 6, 2022 until our next, well, move it to a final hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner De Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay. Thank you. You'll hear from our office as far as the information for the final hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Is that going, Mrs. Rosa?
Yes.
Question, is that going to be another hearing, or we only going to get a letter from you guys with your decisions?
It's going to be a final hearing, so you would have to come back in front of us. You will receive a letter letting you know when the hearing is going to happen.
Understand.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
No questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You have a good day.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we'll go back now on, for Delicia's. Attorney Allen. Okay, so the first item, for Delicia's Restaurant is, Delicia's Restaurant and Catering, DBA Delicia's Restaurant located at 1333 Boston Road, Derek Crespo, manager of record, incident of January 28th, 2022.
So I think, Madam Chairperson, Attorney Allen, I think we can cut to the chase on these pre-hearing conferences. Are there any admissions, or do you want to set those up for final hearing?
So I need the body worn cam that's referenced in some of these reports.
There's actually 2 reports, I believe, or 1 that the body worn cameras are referenced in. The rest of them, you have all the information that I have.
So before you cut me off, I was just explaining that, answering your question, that I would like to see the body, hear the audio on the body worn cameras.
Okay, but as I said to you, that affects one of these pre-hearing conferences. What about the other 7? Do you want to make
set them up for a final hearing?
Okay. So why don't we do a motion on those 8?
Do we know which one is the one with the body camera?
Officer Delamarta?
There's actually 3.
Yes.
Okay.
One of them
might. Dates of those.
Okay, so one of them probably wasn't listed on this list. It didn't make the list, but the dates where body worn camera was documented in the report was October 23rd, 2021.
Okay, but that's not on this one though, right? So I'll add it for the next one.
Okay, the next one I believe is November 6th, 2021. And the third one is November 28th, 2021.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna get a little creative here, Attorney Days. If I mention it wrong, then you can correct me, but I make a motion that we move all other items to final hearing with the exception of the October 23rd, 2021, November 6th, 2021, and November 28th, 2021 incident. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelantonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, so those will be moved to final hearing. And then now for final hearing on Delicia's.
Well, Madam Chairperson, let's go back to November 28th. I have November 7th. So was it the 6th and to the 7th, Officer Delamarta? The incident that's listed on the 7th?
Yeah, give me a second to find the report.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of these, that's the way they are, like either the call came in before midnight or yeah, so on the 6th into the 7th, that's the evening that I was out there, the 6th into the morning hours of the 7th. So it's one and the same.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So 6 into we can leave it at the 7th. Okay, so number 5 and 6, and then the October 23rd one is not on here, correct? But that also has body worn camera information, right?
It does.
Okay, all right. So for those 3, well, let's stay with the list. So for the 2 that are on the list, that would, Attorney Allen, that would be number 5 and 6. We'll continue this for further pre-hearing conference.
Right, because the body worn camera may just make the whole thing dispositive.
Okay.
Meaning I'm assuming we'll hear the noise that's listed if, on the body one. When I get them in criminal cases, it's pretty clear. So I'm not, that's the reason I think it would help move some of these matters. If it's record, we know what the issues have been when we come back here, but if it's recorded, then I don't see what they're going to have to go to final hearing with if it's recorded. So that's really why I'm asking for them, not to
Okay,
be
so we'll
difficult.
continue these. We'll continue these for further pre-hearing conference.
Okay. So for the final hearing, Delicia's Restaurant and Catering, DBA Delicia's Restaurant located at 1333 Boston Road, Derek Crespo, manager of record, incident of October 14th, October 17th, 2021, failure to abide by City of Springfield noise ordinance.
Okay, I'm just, Madam Chairperson,
Yes.
if we can just go back and do a motion to continue those two, or did I miss that? Did you do that already?
Yeah, I think I got a little creative on the motion, but we can go back if you
So
if
the
you'd
ones,
like me to.
ones that are here, continue for further pre-hearing conference, that was a motion made by you. Who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, we can move forward then.
Okay. Attorney Allen on the, or Attorney Dace, how do we proceed on Delicia's, the number one?
Okay, well,
And that
first
was
of all-
the October 14th, October 17th, 2021, with a failure to abide by City of Springfield noise ordinance.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, Officer Delmarter, but we would not be going forward on the 14th, right? That was just a call for service, but there was no violation found on the 14th, correct?
Right, there was one violation for failure to abide by the City of Springfield noise ordinance, and that would be on the 17th, which was a Sunday evening.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so the city is prepared to go forward with that. Attorney Allen?
Yeah, we're prepared to go forward. I mean, we have witnesses too under subpoena. I don't see any of them here. So we've been through this. You made me send the sheriff to subpoena these witnesses. The subpoenas all say they have a continuing obligation to appear. I don't see Simpson nor Johnson. So it's just one of the issues. I might have a limited screen up on the box up here, but I don't see from
Simpson is
scanning.
present.
Officer Simpson.
Okay, I just don't see Officer Simpson. That's fine. I apologize.
Yeah, it has my first name, Sion.
Oh, Sion. Okay.
Yes, Sion.
So we're ready when the board's ready.
Okay, so this, well, I guess I would ask all the witnesses to raise your right hand.
It is, is Officer Johnson, Danielle Johnson on the screen somewhere too here?
No, Daniel Johnson's not here.
Why not?
Officer Delamarta?
He's actually on vacation. I found out about this meeting at 12:30 this afternoon. I reached out. Sergeant Johnson's not available. He was from the October 2nd and 3rd incident as well, not from the 14th and 17th.
Okay, but is October 2nd and 3rd not on the list? I thought it was on the list.
It
It's
is,
on
it's
the
the
list.
second item.
It's the second item.
Sorry, yeah, it's the second item. So I'm not sure how the board wants to deal with it, but we spent the money to have the officer here, and I don't think we went into it in too much detail. But again, the reason the officer is being called is the call log says he heard low music the entire time he was present. So that's why he's being called, at least the call log that I have here.
But I think that's for the second item. Am I correct? He was on the second call, not the first item.
Okay, so you're swearing witnesses in for item 1 then?
Yeah, October 17th. Okay, our witnesses? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you provide during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I don't have an opening. I'm just going to proceed to the first witness, and that would be Officer Barry Delamarta. Okay, Officer Delamarta, could you please state your name for the record?
Barry Delamarter.
And are you employed with the Springfield Police Department?
I am.
And how long have you been employed, sir?
27 years.
Okay, and in what capacity do you serve now on the police department?
I'm the liaison to the licensing department, so I handle all matters at licensed establishments throughout the city.
Okay, and are you familiar with Delicia's Restaurant?
I am.
And where is it located, sir?
1333 Boston Road.
Okay, and did you have occasion to be there on October 17th, 2021?
I did.
And why were you there?
I responded there on both the 14th and 17th due to numerous noise complaints coming from there have been prior issues there. The manager of record had been called before the board last summer.
Objection. That's not what we're here to the notice is. What is the allegation on the 17th? The board certainly doesn't need to hear a hearsay recitation of what he alleges the licensee's record is.
Well, as you know, Attorney Allen, I would agree with you to the extent that the 17th is in question, but you know, hearsay is permissible in an administrative hearing. So I'll rephrase the question.
Right, but we don't need to hear there until the board is fully aware of the history. So, I mean, in the interest of time.
Indeed they are. So I'm going to ask Officer Delamarta another question.
Great.
Okay. So Officer Delamarta, you had occasion to be there on the 17th, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And upon responding there, what, if anything, happened?
If you don't mind, I just want to look at my notes real quick to see what time I got there.
Okay.
Yep, so I got there at 7:30. I was there till around 30 a.m. I basically was on the Geraldus Drive side, so that's behind the restaurant. While I was there, I spoke to several of the residents, in particular, Marie Prouty and Ed Bernard, who were both present on the Zoom tonight. As the night went on, the music got louder and louder. You know, at one point, Ed Bernard lives, it's over 200 feet away. He's the third house in from the end. He came down to where I was. I was at the second house in, which is over 100 feet away. And from that location, all three of us could hear the music from Delicious.
Okay. And you stated you got there at 7:30. What time did you leave?
12:30 a.m.
Okay, and approximately what time would you say that this you were able to hear the music from over 50 feet away?
I would say it was audible at times throughout the entire night, but as the night went on, it got louder and louder and more consistent.
All right, now you're familiar with the City of Springfield ordinance?
I am.
Ordinance. Okay, and could you tell us the amount of distance that is permissible to comply with the noise ordinance?
Right, so unreasonable noise is defined. It's any noise that is plainly audible at a distance of 100 feet in the case of 100 feet. And in the case of an amplification device, the words unreasonable noise means any noise plainly audible at a distance of 50 feet. So in essence, if you can hear it from 50 feet away, it's a violation of the city noise ordinance.
Okay, and on this particular night, on October 17, 2021, is it fair to say that you were over 50 feet away and the noise was audible at various times while you were there? Okay.
Yes, the entire time I was at least 100 feet away, if not further.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Good evening, officer.
Evening.
So you were there 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5.5 hours?
5 hours.
Who were you with?
I was there by myself, sir.
Did you have your body camera on?
I did not.
Why didn't you record anything?
I didn't feel the need to record it. I mean, the neighbors could hear it, I could hear it.
You know that you've been here, right? And you know that it's allegedly been a chronic problem, right?
No, it's been a chronic problem.
You didn't record any noise, right?
No.
So like you just said, 50 feet away from any noise then could be a violation of the noise ordinance, right? So if a neighbor down the street was playing a loud sound box and you could hear it, that technically could be deemed an unreasonable noise, correct?
You're absolutely right. It's plainly audible.
All right. So you believe you were 50? You believe you were at least 100 feet away from a bar, and you could hear noise, correct?
I know I was 100 feet away. I've measured it.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just asking you. You were 100 feet away, and you could hear noise, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, did you go speak to the owners that night?
I did not that night.
But why not?
Around 11 o'clock that night, a car pulled up into the cul-de-sac into that street. And a state representative was in that car, and I spoke with him, and he advised me he was going there and that he would talk to them. So I did go. I was hoping that he would take care of the problem.
So what I asked you was really non-responsive. You went there on a call and you stayed there for 5 hours. So I'm asking you to tell the board you went there. Why didn't you go in and talk to the licensees?
I just told you why. You asked if I said no.
You were there to just document noise. Is that what you were doing for 4 hours?
No, at that point, around 11 o'clock, roughly a little before, a little after. At some point, I was going to call for a cruiser. And when Carlos Gonzalez showed up there.
Yes, he can do that.
He called me one other time on behalf of this licensee.
What does that have to do with your testimony on the 17th? I'm just
Well, you're asking me. You're asking
let me finish.
Why I didn't
Let
go
me
there.
finish. Let me finish. I'm simply asking you why you were there in response to a noise call, why you didn't, through the 4-hour course, just go into the establishment and talk to the licensees.
And I would object because it's been asked and answered.
Hasn't been answered.
He did answer. He told you why.
He didn't answer. He wants to go into the board. You can ask him. I don't care about Carlos Gonzalez. I'm just simply asking him about what you elicited from him. He was there for 4 hours. Please tell me why you didn't just go talk to the licensees.
Well, number one, to clarify, I wasn't there on a noise complaint. There was no complaint that night. I went.
So there was no complaint. Okay.
On my
So
own
now
accord.
you received no complaint then on the 17th.
On that evening, no.
All right. So there's no complaint made on the 17th because what's before the board now is an allegation that you were responding for noise complaints, right?
To previous noise complaints, not one that evening.
So had you gone there with Commissioner Signator prior to this event or after this event where you were sitting in the car waiting?
After this event, sir.
Okay, and that was planned, right? That's how you would deal with this issue with the other member of the License Commission, correct?
I wouldn't say it was planned. He was made.
Sir, tell the truth to the other members of the board. You went and had special communications with Mr. Signator without the other board members, and you were planning on going there to try and capture noise from the restaurant, correct?
There was no special communications.
Sir, you have a bias here today, don't you?
I have no bias.
And you didn't go there on this night for a complaint, but you had been communicating without the knowledge of the other members of the board, where Mr. Signator went with you in an investigatory role to try and capture noise, correct?
Again, not on this evening, so I'm not sure why we're speaking of that.
Sir, we're talking about motive and bias and what actually you're here telling the board. First of all, now there wasn't any complaint on this night, but you haven't really been candid about special communications and out of public meeting communications with another member of the board. where you conspired to go try and catch noise? No, sir. That's what you did, correct?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, but you're laughing and it's really not funny and it's truthful,
Well,
right?
Okay, you
what
know
you're
what,
saying is
objection, I
crazy.
mean, listen,
No,
it's combative.
no,
It doesn't need to
not
be
combative.
combative, Attorney Allen.
It's not combative. You've put a biased witness before a board that's supposed to be public and impartial without even having the knowledge of what their other member was doing, which wasn't appropriate anyways.
Do you have proof of that?
Well, I put a motion before the board regarding this issue. I don't know if it was ruled on, and I think let me finish answering your question. No, let me finish answering your question. Let me finish answering your question. He has been communicating and plotting to catch these people for noise. You have a complaint now. He just admitted there was no complaint. So you're just trying to sandbag the client. You put this witness up, and the board should have known that the other member went and did this. And the other member shouldn't be an investigatory body for the board. We've discussed this. So I'm done with my questions for him, but the board will hear from me an argument as to the nature of this alleged violation.
Officer Delamarta, could you hear that noise coming from that establishment with your own ears?
I could, just like the neighbors did the 31 times before when they called.
Objection.
Thank you. I have no further questions for Officer Delamarta. Thank you. Any redirect? Attorney Allen?
I have no further questions for him.
Okay. Next, but
I may have questions for Mr. Signator, but I don't see him on the screen.
Mr. Signator is not here tonight, sir.
Well, it's a hearing. He should have been here, but okay.
Next, I'm going to call Marie Prouty.
Yes.
Something's echoing.
Can we clarify her testimony since she didn't make a complaint on the night that the board now is considering on the 17th?
Do you have the reports with you, Attorney Allen?
I do, but I just heard the officer testify that there was no complaint made by anybody.
Well, let's hear the testimony of Ms. Prouty. Good evening, Ms. Prouty.
Good evening.
Could you state your full name for the commission?
Marie Prouty.
And Mrs. Prouty, where do you live at?
148 Geraldus Drive.
Okay, and where is 148 Geraldus Drive in relation to Delicia's restaurant?
Directly behind it.
Okay, and are you the first house behind Delicia's?
Second.
The second house. And how far away from Delicia's would you say your house is?
Approximately 120 feet.
Okay, all right. You know, we've been talking about October 17th, 2021, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and did you have occasion at that point to speak to anyone regarding the noise from Delicia's?
On that evening, yes.
Okay, and who did you speak to?
Officer Delamarta.
Okay, and how did you come in contact with him?
He came to observe and see if he could hear what we were complaining about.
Okay, and you stayed at that, so did he come to your home? Or where were you at?
I saw him outside.
Okay, and upon seeing him outside, what did you do next?
I approached him to see if there was anything I could do.
Okay, and at that time, did you hear any noise?
Yes.
Okay, what did you hear?
It was the music and the bass, and at that point, it wasn't extremely loud, but it was audible.
Okay, and do you recall what time that was?
Approximately 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Okay, and did you have occasion later that night to hear any noise?
Yes.
Okay, and what time was that approximately?
Throughout the remainder of the evening.
Okay, and were you still at your home at the time that you heard the noise?
Yes.
Okay, and that was approximately 120 feet away from Delicia's, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, Attorney Allen, your witness.
Good morning, ma'am. I mean, good evening, ma'am. I forget that time of the day. So The officer comes to your house, correct?
He didn't come to my house. He was on the street.
He was on the street. All right. And he's been on the street before, hasn't he?
Yes.
And his purpose was he's trying to catch noise coming from the restaurant, correct?
Objection. How can she
No.
speak to his purpose?
She can answer the question.
How can she speak to his purpose? You're asking. her to-
She had interaction with him.
You want to rephrase?
Yeah,
the
she had
question?
interaction. No, I don't, ma'am. Did you speak to the officer?
Okay, that's a rephrasing. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you going to testify, Attorney Days, or is she?
No, but you're going to testify. You're going to
All right.
ask questions that are
All
appropriate.
right. Well,
That's
it's
what I'm
actually
gonna do.
it's actually up to the board to sustain or a question. Not you can't be both the judge
But
and the
you-
person
but
objecting.
you can object.
Okay.
You can object though, correct?
But I'm not ruling on my own objections as you are. But
Let's go.
so, Ms. Prouty, did you speak to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, and the purpose of him being there was to try and catch noise from the restaurant, correct?
I wouldn't say he was trying to catch noise. He came to see if he himself could hear what our complaints were about.
And had he told you that he had been communicating with another member of the Liquor License Commission?
No.
Okay, well, were you there on the prior occasion when he had Mr. Signator with him? You were, right?
I don't believe Mr. Signator was here prior to this night.
Okay, how about after?
One other night.
Okay, and who was he with?
Then it was afterwards.
Well, who was he with, ma'am? Tell the board who he
I'm
was
sorry?
with. Tell the board who he was with.
He came after Officer Delamarter was here.
Oh, so he came himself?
Yes.
So he wasn't with the officer?
No.
Okay, and did you speak to him that night?
Yes.
Okay, and what were your conversations with him?
They were, I don't recall what we discussed. We
You
were
can't
listening
recall?
for the noise.
Right, you know what you were talking about. He wanted to catch the bar
Restaurant
with
and the
noise.
music. I don't remember word for word what was said.
All right, and you would agree with me when someone would enter or exit the bar, you would hear the noise a little bit louder, correct? Because the door opened, right?
Yes.
Okay, did you record any of the noise that you heard?
I don't have a recording device that could do that.
Okay. Well, did Mr. Signator, was he recording any of the alleged noise he heard when he was with you?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, and how about the police officer you spent a lot of time with?
I don't spend a lot of time with him, and no, I don't sit out here and watch people and observe what they're doing.
Okay, but were you there for the 3-hour period of time? Well, were you there? I don't want to misstate the time, between 7:30 and 12:30. Were you there the entire time with the officer?
I was home the entire night. I was not with the officer the entire night.
Okay, so you agree with me when sometimes the door would open to the bar, you could hear the noise a little bit louder, right?
Yes, I can tell from being in my house. I don't need to be outdoors for that.
Okay. And the purpose of, your understanding, the purpose of the officer and Mr. Signator on the occasions they were there was to try and catch noise from the bar, correct?
I won't use the word catch, no, because
But we know, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Were you done?
I was under the impression that was Officer Delamarter's job.
Okay. And we know, according to the officer, that no, he wasn't really responding to any complaint that was made on the date that's before the board, correct?
I did not file a complaint that night, no.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I have nothing further.
Ms. Prouty, just briefly, you stated that you could hear the music louder when the door was open, correct?
Yeah.
Could you hear the music when the door was closed?
Yes.
And were you at Gerald's Drive when you could hear it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. Next, our final witness would, I'm sorry, any redirect, Attorney Allen?
Nope, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Next witness will be Edward Bernard.
And is this still for the same night?
Hello.
Yes, for the 7th.
Okay.
Mr. Bernard, could you state your, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Can you state your full name, please?
Edward Bernard.
Okay, Mr. Bernard, where do you live?
I live a house past Marie. I'm in the third house on the street,
Okay, now the street would be Geraldus Drive?
Careless Drive. I'm like 200 feet plus from Deliciosos.
Okay. Do you recall the evening of October 17th, 2021?
I recall hearing loud music on several nights there, and where it's to the point where I can hear it in my living room.
Okay, but I want to direct your attention to October 17th. Do you recall that night?
Not completely, because I was there. I don't recall all the incidents. I know I was out there. I talked to the police, about the loud noises.
Okay, were you out there the evening you heard Ms. Prouty testify, is that correct?
Yes.
You heard Officer Delamata testify as well. Were you out there with the two of them on October 17, 2021?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and at that time, did you hear any noise during the time you were out there with Ms. Prouty and Officer Delamata?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Especially like when the door opens and they let people in and out to that back courtyard, you can hear loud music.
Okay, and how about when the door is closed?
You can still hear music, but not as loud. And if I'm 200 feet away, I can still hear it when it's closed.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bernard. I have no further questions. Your witness, Attorney Allen.
So, Mr. Bernard, how was it that you came here today? Who asked you to come?
Who asked me?
Yes.
I come because I have complaints about hearing loud music.
But who asked you to come to today's hearing?
Barry.
Barry. Barry who?
Well, I don't know. What's his last name? I don't know. Officer Delamar?
Okay.
Delamar.
Okay. So he called you and asked you to come to this hearing?
He sent me a link so I could come to this meeting, yes.
Okay. You told the board in your direct testimony that you didn't really remember a lot about the 17th, correct?
Correct, because I don't have anything documented.
Right.
I had the cops come down. I come out to speak with the cops about the loud music.
You didn't file a complaint that night, correct?
I don't remember.
Well, sir, you never called the police to come there, correct?
No, probably not.
Probably not. And you didn't record any noise, correct?
No.
And the reason you're here is because this officer sent you, let me finish the question, called you or sent you a link and said, come to tonight's meeting, correct?
I came to this meeting because I can hear music from this restaurant from my living room on nights.
Okay, I'm just asking you about what's before the board. And I'm talking about the night of the 17th, where you said you really couldn't remember anything, right?
Oh, I remember being out here hearing loud music.
Okay, and the reason
officers' names, I don't remember the times.
All right, but you remember that this officer that's here today is the one that sent you the link and wanted you to come, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Okay.
Yeah.
Officer Simpson is your witness, right, Attorney Allen?
Well, I have Officer Simpson on the narrative I have is for 10-3 if you're going forward with it. I have a narrative for 10-2 and 10-3. So that's why I was calling them, but I don't know if we're done with we're on the 17th if we were done with
we're
that.
still on the 17th. I wasn't sure what date it was from. Okay.
Yeah, no, I have it on a narrative for 10-3 for him.
Okay, all right. I have no further witnesses. The city would rest.
So I don't know if the board wants to hear argument or they're going to hear argument.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm not going to call any witnesses for this for this particular violation. But do you want to hear from me, Madam Chairman, or not? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so with respect to this violation, I ask that you Fine, no violation. There's two people there. There's no noise. There's two alleged people that came here tonight, and they're not the complainants. They said they never called the police. They didn't complain. What is happening here is this officer, who I suggest you has a bias, went there and he's looking for noise. And he's sitting there for 4 hours and he's looking for noise. He sent a citizen a link to come testify for an event that, even through his own direct testimony, he said he just didn't remember what occurred on the 17th. Might have been out there, remembers the cop was there, but he didn't file any complaint. Ms. Prouty, again, doesn't file any complaint about noise. They hear a little bit of noise when the door opens and it closes. They're 100 feet, 200 feet. This is just like a sandbag job that's happening here, even with respect to this one incident. The officer now, you can consider a person's demeanor. He's smuckering, he's laughing. There's nothing really funny about it. He was argumentative when I questioned him because he got angry. And why did he get angry? Because I just finally called him out about this backdoor dealing with one of your commissioners. And it's totally inappropriate. A member of the commission should not be involved with the investigative body. He should not be out in the field. He should not be having ex parte, and I know you all know that means one-sided conversations to try and nail or sandbag a licensee. That's just completely not fair, it's unethical, and it's not legal. And the stuff and the planning that was done with respect to this officer and another member of the commission was totally inappropriate. It's something you all as a body should have been made aware of, and it should have been talked about at a public forum before it was done. It was done after, it was done before. They specifically went there on the night of the 17th to sit in a car and listen to see if they could catch a licensee who's trying to operate a business with noise. And the simple question is that I asked, and I didn't call my client because he didn't even go see him for 4 hours. Why wouldn't he at least have gone if he really was truly trying to resolve the problem and work it out? Wouldn't you think our officer that spent 4 hours sitting in a car allegedly waiting to catch him would go say, hey, you guys, what's going on here? I'm outside. I hear this noise. Here's where it's coming from. It's louder here. What are these amps? That wasn't done. Why wouldn't he do that? Because that wasn't the purpose of what he was there for. It was the I got you moment. And it's rare that you can come before a board like this and make this kind of argument. But I got to tell you, it's really serious and it should be addressed. Whether you find a violation on the 17th or not, I would suggest to you the evidence is insufficient. And it's really troubling because you've heard the Crespos testify before, even in the prior hearings that you took under consideration. And again, you can consider the licensee's history, where even the officers, when they thought they heard some noise, they said all along that he was cooperative. They always are respectful to the law enforcement officers. And the big question is, why wouldn't you? 4 hours is a long time. It's probably half this officer's shift, at least go in and try and talk to them, because that wasn't the purpose. The purpose was to document and then come in and write this letter. That's not what the city should be all about. That's not how we should treat our businesses. Is there a noise problem? Probably. But I think what's before you now is the incident that happened on the 17th, and there's not really sufficient evidence to sustain it. And if you do consider and weigh the testimony, even if you don't make a decision tonight, you really should weigh, one, the demeanor of this officer that laughed and smuckered at me when I asked him the questions about his conduct with one of your commissioners. It is concerning. And I'm not saying it to be dilatory. That's not what I would have expected from the officer testifying. We'd want a law enforcement officer to come here and try and work, but that wasn't the purpose of it. And the purpose was to sandbag the restaurant. And I kept asking the question about, well, could you hear the noise a little bit more when the door was open? Clearly, the answer was yes. But there's seriously a credibility problem here, and there's an issue, at least with respect to this violation. And I actually have a lot of concerns about this officer even investigating this any further, given his ex parte communications, which are inappropriate. They violate the open meeting law with another commissioner without the licensee being present. You can go into an executive session. You can get your own legal advice. I'm not giving you that, but I'm telling you, it wasn't appropriate. And clearly that motive, that animus came out in the officer's testimony, and it is a problem. And my clients stand here willing to work with the city. But again, there's Ms. Prouty won't speak to us. She's been advised she doesn't have to speak to us. That we're never going to resolve this problem unless we can sit down and work it out. But clearly, that's not the goal here, and you got a flavor of that because we have an officer there and you've heard some of his testimony, you can draw inferences and you can take what you want from it. But what happened that night's inappropriate. What happened after with the other board members inappropriate. They're targeting this business. But with respect to the evidence, I think you can weigh the credibility. You can believe what someone says or disbelieve it. And I don't think it's credible that they have two people here tonight that both told you we're complaining about noise. Allegedly, we were there, but we didn't complain that night. This is not right. And I'm asking you with respect to the 17th to find no violation.
Attorney Days.
October 17th, 2021. I would suggest to you that you heard credible testimony, first from Officer Delamata, who told you that he was there investigating, which is a duty of an officer. He could be there without the necessary benefit of the complaint. I would suggest to you that he testified that there had been ongoing problems. He was asked by Attorney Allen about that, as well as myself. There had been problems at that establishment. And on this particular night, I would suggest that you heard credible testimony that he went there to investigate. And investigate he did. Part of that investigation included going to Geraldus Drive and being on Geraldus Drive and hearing audible noise in excess of 50 feet as explained in the noise ordinance. You heard the credible testimony of Ms. Prouty, who testified to you that in fact, she lives about 120 feet away from Delicia's, and she was able to hear the noise. You next heard from our next credible witness and credible testimony, I would suggest to you, from Mr. Bernard, who lives 200 feet away from Delicia's, who also heard noise. Now, those are the facts to this particular night. And I would suggest to you that Officer Delamata was credible, Ms. Prouty was credible, and Mr. Bernard were credible. I would suggest to you that that was the evidence for this particular night. And you heard in closing, that Peter Signator, this, and there was some collusion and there was some ex-party communications. I would suggest to you that there was not any evidence that was presented with respect to this particular night, October 17th, other than the three witnesses that were present there. And I would ask that this commission find Delicia's in violation of the noise ordinance on October 17th, 2021.
Thank you, Attorney Days. Board members, anybody has a question? The commissioners?
I have one question in reference to the noise. This is probably for Mrs. Prouty and Mr. Bernard. Do you hear more of the bass sound or do you hear voices? Or do you hear actually the music or more the bass sound?
At the time in question, it was the actual music as well as the bass.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commissioner?
Yes, I have a question for the officer. Officer Berry, I apologize. I cannot pronounce your name properly, so I apologize if that I'm calling you Officer Berry. That day on the day 17th, in which capacity was you there at? Was you there as a private citizen or was you there or as an officer of the city of Springfield?
I was working. I was there as an officer. I was there because there had been numerous complaints. A lot of times, as you guys are aware, you review all these reports. A lot of times, especially noise complaints, they don't get this right away. So by the time officers get there, they may or may not hear it. A lot of officers were going to the front of the restaurant where there is no issue. So I went there because there had been so many complaints and so many reports submitted that I went there to just see for myself what these neighbors were calling about.
Okay, one other question for yourself and for Ms. Proudy. During these noise, music, whatever was coming, are we 100% sure that it was coming from the leased establishment or not from the car wash next door or the gas station?
So the car wash is empty and closed. Before I even went to Jerrilus Drive, I drove in the front. The other way you can tell it's coming from Delicious is because their patio door, every time it opened, it would be much louder. So you could hear, you know, a constant bass, I guess you would describe it. You could hear that the entire time. And then on occasion, you would hear music. But then also every single time that door opened to the patio, which is opened, the patio is licensed till 11 p.m. So before 11 p.m., every time that door opened, someone coming in or out, you could clearly see like light when the door opened, and you would hear much louder music. So in the car wash is closed. It was not open at the time.
Okay. That's all I have, unless Ms. Proudy wants to add on to that question that I had. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Ms. Proudy? Ms. Proudy, did you want to say something?
The voice was breaking up.
Okay.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Was that question towards me? Because it was breaking up. I couldn't hear it.
The question was for yourself and the officer. The question I asked the officer was, are you guys definitely 100% sure that the music was coming from Delicia's establishment or the car wash or the gas station?
No, it was not the car wash or the gas station. They closed by 8 p.m.
The gas station does not close at 8 p.m. Is that correct?
The gas station does it, but the car wash does.
Okay.
And I always, even when I call, I always take a walk to make sure where the music's coming from before I call.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the commissioners? No. If we can go into discussion, I mean, how does the commissioners feel? You know, has it been established that there was a noise violation? Excessive noise coming from the Delicias or not? Any of the commissioners?
I don't know.
I mean, I think I understand that there has been calls. I don't know with Ms. Proudy saying that she didn't call for noise on that day. You know, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and, you know, we're hearing the same thing and, you know, how the rest of the commissioners feel about what we heard today. Testimony from Ms. Proudy, Officer Delamarte, and Mr. Bernard.
I don't know if it's something the board wants to take under advisement, if you want to finish the other alleged violation, but obviously we're coming back, but I don't.
Yes, Madam Chair, is there a possibility that we could hear the other violations and come back to this?
Of course. But that would be okay, Attorney Days?
Well, a challenge is, you'd be ruling on 2 versus 1. And they're 2 separate and distinct hearings. So that would be my only concern.
Okay.
My concern is that I know that we've had credible witnesses, but we haven't really had any kind of factual information that indicates that there was noise coming at that particular moment. We don't have body camera audio or anything like that. So I'm just thinking if we heard the other cases, particularly with the body cameras, that would give us some kind of indication of what noise is actually coming from Delicias.
I mean, it's up to the board, but again, kind of consistent with what Attorney Allen and I were saying is that, you'd have to take it, it's a snapshot in time, right? So the 17th is a snapshot in time. The body worn camera date is a snapshot in time. I mean, they're all separate incidents. So I just want to caution you in terms of that.
Okay.
So basically, Attorney Days, what you're saying is once we do make the ruling, it would have to be for all the violations combined, not each separate entity.
Actually, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying I think you need to rule on each particular incident, not a culmination.
Okay.
Of incidents, because
I would concur with that. You have to just go by the evidence for each violation.
Okay.
It's either sufficient or not sufficient. And I understand for the commissioner's point of view. I mean, the next one might have the noise on the body cam, and it probably won't be a hearing if it does. But I haven't heard it yet. But I understand the root of the question. But maybe I'm off. But yeah. I mean, we don't think we don't think you should consider body cam that you hear at a different occasion to bolster maybe what your thought process is on a week charge before you now, but obviously you make that decision on me.
Okay. So,
anyone else?
Do you have a recommendation, Madam Chair?
I mean, I'm open to the commissioners either making a motion or a recommendation. John, you seem to be thinking.
Yes. Yes, I am. I think we should potentially motion to go on to see to get a vote on the violation. This extent of it is, I think, it's another conversation of what the if there is agreeable violation of the what will be the violation. We all have to remember Officer Berry's there as a representative of the city police department. He is there regardless if there was a noise call complaint. He is there in behalf of the city, and that's what I'm leaning on. He has not shown to myself, and I'm not sure if to any of my fellow commissioners, that his credibility is in question. His credibility is on tack with me, and he has not shown to me that it's not. So with that, I think we should go forward and go with a vote on a violation, yea or nay. He was there in a capacity, regardless if he was wearing a uniform, plain clothes, a blue light on his head, flashing blue. He is an officer of the city of Springfield. So, and that's the way I'm thinking at this situation. And like I said, in the past hearings, our police officers are almost like referees to go and get in the middle of a situation and make judgments. And that's where they empowered to do by us citizens in the city of Springfield. So we can't not he was there, regardless if it was a call, but he was there in capacity of investigating or potential noise complaints in the past. And we need to take that into account and go by his judgment and his testimony.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, let's go make a motion for to vote on a violation.
So there's a motion that we find a violation for the October 17, 2021 for the failure to abide by City of Springfield noise ordinance.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay. So we'll move on to the second hearing, which is the October 2nd and October 3rd, 2021, same with failure to abide by City of Springfield noise ordinance.
I'm sorry, can we just go back for 1 minute? Because I don't know that. What was the motion?
The motion,
Yep, go ahead.
John?
The motion was to,
vote for the violation of that October 17th.
okay, to find a violation or to vote on it. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
It was to vote on it. I think the
Okay.
violation, it was already established of the other situation. So it was a vote on the violation.
That a violation was found or that you
Yes.
guys going to vote on? Okay, all right. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, so in terms of, well, let's stay with that one. In terms of a sanction,
Right.
did you guys discuss that?
No, we didn't.
We
And,
did not.
Attorney Days, do you know if they've had previous violations?
Which sanctions?
No. Violation.
I don't believe so. Attorney Allen, do you recollect?
I don't, I came into this when we started this, I had, my paperwork has no priors, proven ones, so, but you may have, I gotta go by what you have in your file.
Yeah, I don't think there's, there might have been a letter of warning at
So
some
it's-
point along this journey, but I don't think
Correct.
they've had any sanctions. strong.
No, correct. There was a letter, a warning letter.
Okay, so
couple of
then
months
there's no
ago.
other, yeah, then there's no other, there's been no other violations found to this point.
Okay. Since they've had one letter of warning, do we move to the next phase? And that being my recommendation would be a 1-day suspension with 4 days held in abeyance for a year.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said my recommendation would be I'm just throwing this out to the other commissioners, that my recommendation would be 1 day served with 4 days in abeyance.
Okay, so a total of 5, 1 day to serve, and 4 days held in abeyance.
For 1 year.
For 1 year.
Okay. So is that a motion, Commissioner Cade, or just a recommendation?
That's a recommendation to the other commissioners. I'll make it a motion if everybody is okay with that, the other commissioners.
Okay.
AR would like to make that a motion, please.
Okay. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. So that would be 5 days, one suspended and 4 held, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
I think he said 1 day to serve or.
1 day to serve and 4 held in abeyance. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And when are you proposing that it be served?
Well, we always try to do the weekends. And the day that's coming up that I would know would be, it's either Saturday or Monday. That would be the 28th, May 28th.
Yeah, that's the 28th Saturday.
Is that too soon?
Well, could you consider doing it the following weekend, seeing that it's Memorial Day weekend? It's probably one of a place's busier weekends with people off. They are running a business, but it is what it is.
I was gonna suggest the following weekend, being that it's sort of short notice.
Well, that will be my only case is short notice, but because we do try to get a date where it is sometimes on a holiday weekend. But I will agree with you if we wanted to go the next weekend since it's short notice.
So I'll make a motion for it to be served the next following weekend.
So just by, usually, I'll just say, I don't want to enter, I'll leave your lawyer tell you, usually the licensee gets a 10-day reprieve if they want to go to the ABCC with it and try and have it upheld. But I don't have a calendar in front of me. So yeah, it sounds like those 10 days might be there. We usually get a written decision by just however you want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, customarily, honestly, Attorney Allen, we don't wait the 10 days. I mean,
it's fine. Why don't you just make a record? So.
Okay, so I recommend June 4th.
June 4th, and John, you made that motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
okay. Madam Chairperson, with respect to the second one, I know we have attorney, I'm sorry, not attorney, it's getting late. Officer Simpson here, but Officer Johnson being on vacation, I would suggest that we continue this, and I've talked to Officer Simpson about that. Attorney Allen, do you have a position?
No, it's fine. I want her, and I'm also going to be calling Mr. Signator to the next hearing in light of this ruling and a record that I intend to make. So we can address that probably off the record and fight that out if you disagree with it. But I have a record to make, and as you know, it's usually progressive discipline from here, but I am going to make that record. So I'm going to make a request to the PD for information between now and
I don't know if I shared this with you before, but again, we can take it offline. But there was a motion, your motion was heard, and the board voted to recuse Peter Signator from these matters. So, but we can
yeah, there's still an argument to be made regarding what the underlying motive of all these.
I don't have an issue with it at all.
I understand. I'm not trying to give you a hard, I'm just trying to protect their rights to do it. But I have no problem with continuing it. Again, opening to discussing a global resolution, and hopefully don't have to do any more hearings. I guess I say that for the board's purpose, so they don't think we want to come back and do whatever we have here, 8 more hearings to go.
Okay.
Great. All right. Thank you for your time.
And, keep calling you an attorney. Maybe you should go to law school. I don't know.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Shut up. Officer Simpson, thank you so much. I know you've been here. You've helped me along the way and told me when to record, and I forgot to record. And I appreciate you you being on tonight. And I also appreciate, and I would just tell you that I did talk to Officer Simpson about the continuance, and so he's aware of that. But thank you for appearing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll be in touch. Thanks.
Okay, now with that being said, I believe the only other thing to review are the violation reports. I'm going to go off and let you guys do that. And Madam Chairperson, if you could just keep a record of what you guys decide to do in terms of actions taken. That would be.
Okay, just before you go, we make a motion to continue
Yes.
the second, okay. And so I'm going to do that. And just so that you're aware, we were not sent any violation. Oh, we did.
Okay. I don't know where they're not.
No, I believe these are the old violations that
before. Oh,
Barry sent to us.
Okay, perfect. Then if there's no violations for tonight, then.
Okay,
That would
so
Would I be okay to go? I just have a family matter to tend to. I didn't want to be rude and sign off, but I can
No,
wait.
I think you're all set.
All
okay.
right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
members
you.
of the board.
Thank you.
So I move forward with making a motion that we continue Delicia's Restaurant, the incident of October 2nd and October 3rd, 2021, failure to abide by City of Springfield noise ordinance, be continued to our next meeting on the 8th, we agreed it was?
Yep, it's the 8th.
For June. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio.
Yes.
I'm gonna get it one
You are
day.
gonna get it.
I'm gonna get it. I practice it all the time. Commissioner Espinosa, yes. I'm gonna record it and just play it overnight so that I can get it. I will, I promise you.
Angel, Antonio. Just split it up into 3. Angel, Antonio.
That's what I kept practicing all day. I said, oh, that's easy enough. It is not, because I want to say D'Angelo.
Even D'Angelo, Antonio, that's fine.
Okay, so I make a motion that we adjourn at 7:31 p.m.
Before we adjourn,
Yes.
I'd like to just welcome the new commissioner today.
you.
So get ready.
Right.
Welcome.
I was a little quiet tonight only because I'm trying to follow the board's lead. I'm learning as I'm going, but I definitely wanted to follow your lead this evening. It's very interesting, and I look forward to serving with all of you.
Can you just tell us briefly what you do? I haven't heard of you before.
I'm surprised. Obviously, you never had a problem with school bus transportation.
No. Right.
I retired from the Springfield Public Schools in 2020. I was the director of transportation for our school district.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. I took over in 2010, and again, I retired in 2020, and I became a realtor. I work with Landmark Realty in East Long Meadow now.
Oh, wonderful.
But after 40 years of service to the city, I was a little tired.
Right, I can understand that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but being on this board still keeps me, my finger on the pulse, and I'm going to really enjoy it.
All right, thank you. Well,
Thank you,
welcome
you're on
again.
your
Yeah.
toes.
Oh, you absolutely will.
All right.
Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Thank
All
you,
right, take
everyone.
care. See you later.
Thank you, Attorney
Bye.
Days. Thank you,
Thank you.
Cyan.
Bye-bye.